Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited to be back. Today we're going to talk about my favorite paintings that I've done, and Patches here is going to help us out. So the first painting I want to talk about is this one. Ooh. So I just did this one a few days ago, so it hasn't been varnished yet, and I also haven't signed it yet. But I really love this one because I think a lot of my paintings a lot of the time can be very colorful and very expressive, which is super fun, but it's always fun to try and do a more realistic painting. Kind of like a little bit of a challenge is always fun. So I did this a few days ago and I'm super excited with how it turned out. Yeah, so most of the paintings that I like to do are these big 16 by 20 inch paintings, and then again this is acrylic. I don't know why I like the 16 by 20 inch size. It's just the one that I always get, like always, like I would say 90% of my paintings are these big 16 by 20 inch stretched canvas. I think just the size, it's so much easier to put in a lot more detail. I think sometimes with smaller paintings it looks a bit busy with a lot of detail. And then again, I mostly use, actually now I really only use stretched canvases. When I first started painting, I used a lot of the canvas panels because I thought that, the canvas panels are easier to frame, and so that was kind of my logic behind using a lot of canvas panels. But now I think a lot of customers don't like to frame their paintings. They like that more modern style of just hanging it straight up on the wall. And so now I really try and use mainly stretched canvas because it's so much easier. You can just hang it straight up on the wall, which is great. So yeah, so that's my first favorite painting, my most recent favorite painting. So the next one that I absolutely love is this green one. I'm so excited. Okay, so what happens really often with my paintings is that I do a painting and I realize I love the composition, I love like the way that I did the colors, and I do it again and again and again and again. So this is one of those ones. This is the very first one that I did like this. I did it monochrome with the green, and there's a little bit of yellow in here and a little bit of yellow and white, if you can see that a little bit in the sky. But I love how it's really only one color. You can really see the depth and the highlights and the shadows, which I really, really love. And so I've actually done this same composition, color scheme type thing so many times. I did a mini square one that was green and had the mountain, and then I did this pink one that we'll talk about a bit later that has all pink in the mountain. So I absolutely love this composition and using the monochrome color. I think it's super duper fun. But this is my favorite out of all the ones I've done that are like that. And we'll talk about the pink one in a little bit. So my next favorite painting is this one, this little mountain cabin in the woods type thing. So my family goes to North Carolina a lot, and it kind of reminds me of North Carolina. Maybe that's why I like it so much. But I am super proud of this one because personally, I am really horrible at paintings that have a lot of green and grass in them, like green plants, where the whole painting is like grass and trees and stuff. For some reason, I just cannot do grass. And for me, I feel like my trees could be a lot better, these kinds of trees. So I'm actually really proud that I've done like this kind of grassy landscape, and I'm really proud of how it has turned out. There have been so many paintings where I try and do like a big grassy field and I just have to paint over it and do something else because I like cannot do grass. I don't know why. But I'm very happy with this one. And I love how it's kind of fall with the trees, and I love the kind of green, or not green, the kind of gray sky. This is actually my favorite weather in this painting. I love days in the fall where the sky is kind of gray, but the trees are really orange. I think when the sky is gray, it brings out the orange in the trees so much. Those are my favorite days. So yeah. So, as you can probably tell already, I love painting nature scenes. I love mountainscapes, seascapes. I love making them realistic. I love making them colorful. And but another one of the things that I absolutely love to paint are butterflies. I do so many butterflies. Butterflies are just like, they're so much fun to paint. You can do so many different colors. Same with kind of nature scenes. I love using a lot of color in unique ways. And so this is one of my favorite butterflies. Again, he's a 16 by 20 inch acrylic on canvas, stretched canvas. as you can see, as I mostly use. So this is the biggest butterfly that I've done. I do a lot of watercolor butterflies, and then I have a few that are on smaller canvases, which I'm not going to talk about today, but this is my absolute favorite butterfly just because I love the colors, I love how the details came out, and I love how big it is. I always do my butterflies on either a white or black background because I think it makes the colors pop more. And it also reminds me of those kind of framed butterflies. You know, sometimes people have this, like, it's like a dead butterfly in a little frame, and they like use them to decorate their house and that sort of thing. It reminds me of that kind of composition, and so I think that's why I always like to do my butterflies with black and white backgrounds. But this is my favorite butterfly, and it's available on my website. So my next favorite painting that I'm going to talk about is this one. So it's another example of, like the green one, of a composition that I tried once. This is the original one, and I've decided that I love it, and I do it over and over and over again. So I actually recently did 2 paintings that have this same kind of mountain tree composition. I recently did one that has more of a lavender sky, more tan mountains, and then I did one that has a dark sky and dark mountains, which I'm not going to talk about today, but they're on my Instagram if you want to go and check them out. But this is my absolute favorite one of all of those, just because I think it looks so peaceful and serene with the pale blue. I love how the blue and the mountain match, and then I also love how well the reflection came through. I think it looks like a pretty accurate reflection. So I'm super excited with this one. I just think it's such a peaceful painting. So it's one of my favorites, and it's again one of those ones that I just love the composition, and I just like do it over and over and over again in all sorts of different colors. So I actually painted this in 2017, and I was really happy with it when I painted it. But as the years went on and it kind of sat in my house, I realized that I could do a lot better. And so this past summer, I picked it up again, and I fixed a lot of things. I fixed the horizon line. For me, I have this like weird issue where even if I block out my paintings and measure the horizon line with a ruler and make sure that it's like the same everywhere, I can like never make them straight. I don't know why. I just like get painting, and like for some reason I just like cannot make my horizon line straight. I don't know why. Anyway, so the horizon line on this used to be like horribly crooked. So I fixed the horizon line. I added more detail to the rocks and the water. And so now I'm super duper happy with it. It's one of my favorite paintings, and I think it's also one of my most popular paintings. Yeah, so I love this one. And like, it's such a good example of it's never too late to change a painting. Like, even if it's 3-4 years old and it's been sitting in your house and you look at it and you're like, I don't like it as much as I did, you can just pick it up and change it again. It's never too late. So another painting we're gonna talk about is this one. So again, like the green one and like that mountain one, this is another one where I love the composition, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it in all sorts of different colors. I'm gonna do it in different sizes. And there's a few we'll talk about later that are kind of based off of this one. This pink one was actually based off of a different one, and that was the original one that I loved the composition, and I was like, I want to do it in pink. That one's sold now, but it was lime green, and it had like a turquoisey blue up here, and the water was a turquoisey blue. But I loved that one so much that I was like, I want to do it in pink. And so I made a pink one, and now I absolutely love this pink one. Again, it's a 16 by 20. All the ones we've talked about so far are 16 by 20s. I absolutely love that size. But yeah, I love the pink, I love the orange, I love how it complements the blue, and it's also got little elements of orange in the water to kind of bring the sky and the water together. So yeah, but if you're an artist, like, don't be afraid to just use the same composition over and over and over again with different colors, because it's never going to turn out the same way both ways. Even if like I love this painting and I say I want to make the exact same thing, it's not going to turn out the same. It's always such a good idea just to copy the same composition if that's what you like and if it works for you. So as you have seen already, I definitely have some compositions that I copy a lot. So next we're going to talk about this little pink guy. He's super cute. And again, he's based off of that larger green one, and I have a few others that are like this one and like the green one, just because I really love the monochrome composition. So recently, you can see this is not a 16 by 20. It's the first non-16 by 20 that we're talking about. But recently, because I've realized that I do a lot of 16 by 20 in paintings, I've been trying to kind of expand my horizons, and so I've been buying a lot of different sized canvases that are not 16 by 20. So I've been doing a lot of square canvases recently. And so this is one of those. And again, this was based off of a different one. I did a green one on a square that was meant to be kind of a baby brother to that big green one we talked about. And then I loved that one so much, I was like, well, I'm gonna do it in pink. And so, yeah, another example, let me pull that green one out, of just like doing the same composition. If you can, oh, I dropped it, it's fine, okay. So another example of doing like the same composition, if it works for you, like keep doing it, because it's fun and it's never gonna turn out the same way both times, even if you really make it turn out the same way. So it's always fun to just copy compositions if it works for you. Patches is back. So the next painting we're gonna talk about is this one. So I really don't do abstract paintings. But again, it was part of that whole buying different canvas sizes and trying new things, so I thought I would try to make a more abstract inspired painting. So these brush strokes, when I put down colors, in order to mix them, I paint them horizontally and then I paint them in all of these like diagonal lines, and then I paint it horizontally again, really to mix those colors together. So what I did with this one is I just didn't do that final horizontal line mix. When I did the colors like this, in order to get them to mix better and look a bit more ombre, I realized that I liked how they were, and I realized this was my chance to make something abstract, and so I just left these like this, and I made the mountains really, really lumpy. As you can see, really thick paint. And I really love how it turned out. I'm super excited about this one, and I've done, again, I loved it, and I've done a few more in different colors. So the next paintings I want to talk about are a trio. So again, I did one painting, I loved the composition, and I was like, I'm gonna do it in another color. And so then I had the two, and I loved both of them, and I was like, I'm gonna do a third one in another color. And they weren't meant to be a trio, but just because they all happen to be the same canvas size, now they are a trio. So what happened is I painted this one. Ooh, oh, I just scared Patches. You can't see, but Patches is sitting down here. And I just gave him a little heart attack when I pulled the painting out. So I wanted to make a really simple blue seascape. So again, super simple, blue sky with the rocks, simple brown, super simple. I love this one. And so I was like, I'm gonna make another one. So then I made this green one. You see the resemblance. So I really love the blue, and I made the green, and they were both great, and I loved how they both looked. And I was like, I'm gonna make another one, but I want this last one to be a bit more colorful. And so then I made this one that has the orange and the blue. And this is my favorite one out of the series. I didn't want to be like biased because they're all good paintings, all three of them, but this is my favorite one of the series. They all look so nice together. There's some pictures of me holding them all on my Instagram. But yeah, again, using the same composition really works. If you know it works for you, if you know you like it, there's no reason not to just do it again in a different color. So far, you've seen I love mountains, I love oceans, I love butterflies, but I also love flowers. And my favorite thing to do with flowers is to do a black background with a vase of flowers, just because it reminds me of a lot of 17th and 18th century paintings. They did a lot of those black backgrounds with the flowers, which I love. So this is the first one we're going to talk about, which is, you guessed it, based on another one that I did. I painted this separate painting, and the separate painting is one that's my absolute favorite one. It's sold, but it is my #1 favorite painting I've ever done, because for me, when I paint, I tend to be a little speedy. I tend to want to see the end result pretty quickly, and I tend to get bored of ideas after a few days. 3 days after doing a painting and having an idea, I have a new idea, and then that original idea doesn't appeal to me as much anymore, and then it just doesn't work for me to be working on a painting for a long, long time. But with this other painting, which I will show a picture of, I spent a whole lot of time, and it's the first painting that I really, really took a lot of time making. So I loved that one so much that I wanted to make a new one. So this, the other painting is a little bit more realistic, but this one I love because I think it's definitely more my style. The other, its original friend, sister, is very realistic, and I think you wouldn't be able to tell that it was my style, whereas with this one, I think with the colors and the fluffy flowers, I think you can really tell it's my style. So I'm super proud of this, this floral painting, and I'm actually working on another floral painting right now. I haven't done one like that in a bit. So So I'm working on one right now. So if you go to my Instagram, by the time this is up, I'm sure I've posted something about my new floral painting. So this last one I'm gonna talk about, another 16 by 20, the previous one was a 16 by 20 as well, is this. And you're probably wondering why there's butterflies in a vase. Well, I wanted to do a black background floral painting just like that other one, but I wanted to do something really creative, and I also had an idea of butterflies at the time. And I don't really paint well if I have two ideas in my head, because if I'm working on one painting, I'm thinking of the other idea and it doesn't really work. So I figured combine the ideas, and I made a vase of butterflies. And I'm so proud of this painting. I think it's so creative and exciting. And I just love this, and I love the details. Butterflies are my favorite thing to paint, and so I'm super excited with how this turned out. So thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in any of those paintings, most of them are available at the link in my bio. If you go to my Instagram, it's on my Etsy, is where they're sold. The name of my Etsy store is Marguerite Knowles Art, same as this channel, and my Instagram is also Marguerite Knowles Art, same as this channel. And if you're interested in my favorite art supplies, go and watch my previous video. And if you're interested in seeing more of Patches, he has an Instagram too, and I tag him in some of my Instagrams on my art account. So you can go follow him at The Adventures of Colgate _Patches. It's called that because our previous dog was called Colgate, and it was his Instagram first. But now that we have Patches, we added his name on. So he's The Adventures of Colgate _Patches, and my Instagram and all of my other accounts are Marguerite Knowles Art. Thanks for watching.